Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Connect session that Tally has organized for all the chartered accountants, GSTPs, articles, and the entire business fraternity in general. So, let me welcome you on behalf of Tally for Tally Knowledge Connect session. I can see now good amount of people have joined. So, today we have with us CA Anand Porana sir, and who is a renowned tally enthusiast in not only western parts of India but the entire country. And today we are privileged to hear some knowledge nuggets from him in the areas of how we can leverage tally beyond the traditional capabilities to something which is very innovative in terms ke how you can manage your CA practice through the tools of Tally without uh, uh, having to go rigorous training or something. A small hack or a small tweak here and there, and we would be good to go. So, having said that, let me take a minute to take you through the profile of Anand sir. Anand sir is a renowned Tally evangelist, as just mentioned, with and a practice and a chartered accountant with 18 plus years of experience. Okay, he's a certified five-star partner of Tally, and his firm's name is ASAP Advisors. And apart from this, he specializes in plethora of Tally trainings, implementations, customizations. In fact, he has delivered Tally boot camps, trainings, whatever you call it, to more than workshops, to more than 10,000 participants so far. Okay, and he has also implemented Tally ERP9 in various corporates. He is a core group member of BCSC and a co-convener of the IT committee of Chamber of Tax Consultants. So this was the small but quite powerful introduction of Anand sir. So Anand sir, having said that, the forum is all yours. Please, if you can take us through your experience about how we can use Tally to manage the CA practice.
Thanks, Janak. Thanks for that kind words and the brief introduction. Uh, and as you rightly said, I'm here to share my experiences and how do we best utilize the tally without much going into the customization, just looking or utilizing certain features of the tally in a way which people may not have thought of also. So that would be the my endeavor today. Uh, I would be taking the session for almost 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes, and the floor would be open for question answer. Then on, anyone feeling any questions at any point in time is free to ask the questions by writing in the chat box or raising a question. And Janak, I request you to interrupt at appropriate time, or maybe I can also ask you for a relevant question.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry, I missed that out. So all our participants, you can see at the bottom of the screen, there is a chat box and a Q&A. You can use either of them chat box to have more expressive comments about how or a feedback about if you want to repeat something, Q&A for any particular queries, and we'll be happy to oblige it in between the session whenever Anand sir is taking a pause or taking the Q&A. Yes,
sure.
Anand sir, sorry.
Thanks, Janak. So what I'll do is, in the interest of the bandwidth, I will switch off the video. I will turn on the presentation mode. Then kindly confirm if my screen is visible to you.
Yes, Anand sir, it is visible.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today, this afternoon, to learn something which people are not very keen to learn. They do not learn how do they manage their own practice. We chartered accountant always think about our clients first. In fact, I have seen most of the chartered accountants income tax return goes last into the office. First, they complete the entire work of the clients, and then they come back to their own returns. So that is a state of affairs. And so here today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize the tally in a way which we may not have thought about, or there are some hacks and tricks which may become readily applicable to your organization, and you may be able to generate a lot of reports out of it. Let me just begin by introducing myself again, although Janak has introduced. So this is the form which I had, ASAP Advisors. We are a certified five-star partner of the Tally. And the telepathy is the name whereby I take a lot of online sessions like this and the training sessions like this. You can connect with me this on the given email ID and the WhatsApp number. Fair enough. So when we are designing this session, I started by asking some questions to myself, that what possibly a practicing chartered accountant or a practicing tax practitioner can look forward to. So I came out with the certain questions like, can I keep a track of my staff visit to the client or department from Tally? Or can I maintain a list of work received or completed from within the Tally? Can I know work done but bills not raised from Tally? Very interesting. We talk about the revenue leakages in the clients from the audit perspective, but we never thought about our organization. Can I know the work done but bills not raised from the Tally? How do I send the detailed itemized invoice for services rendered? How do I keep track of the client outstanding partner wise? Can I send a one click reminder to my customers, my clients? And last and the most persistent question, how do I maintain the cash system of accounting? All right. So if I'm able to do a lot of these things, then it will ease my life. And I am saying you today before starting of the session that yes, I'm going to show you all these things and plus little more from Tally, from default Tally without any customization. So are you excited, guys? Just say yes, no into the chat box so that I can feel the energy.
So Madhusudan sir has said yes. Leena ma'am has said yes. Samir sir, yes. Swaraj sir, yes. Big shout out to you guys. Ruhi ma'am, yes. Dinesh
Thanks.
Onkar. Oh wow, sir. I think it has triggered everybody to Sayed sir,
Yeah.
yes. Berin ma'am, sir, yes. Berinji, yes.
Great, 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 great.
Gautam sir, yes. Big shout out to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this kind of the interaction will keep us going in. So yes, I'm going to answer all of these questions. How do you maintain all of this within the Tally without spending even a single rupee on customization, and how you can do all of these things? So let me just begin. It may not be in this particular order, but yes, by the end of the session, I intend to cover each one of this. All right, great. So let me just begin. So those questions led to this agenda, that is how do I do client compliance management or a due date management? How do I maintain the records, invoice, receivable management? What are the MIS reports? And the difference of the cash accounting, accrual accounting, and how do I maintain both of them in the same Tally? It's easy to maintain both of them in a separate account, separate database, separate Tally company, but how do I maintain both of them in the same Tally? All right. So first and foremost, I'll start with the client compliance management or due date management. So let me just switch back to Tally. I will be switching between the Tally and the presentation because it will be more of a practical session where I would show on to the Tally. Presentation is only to serve as a guiding force. All right. So I already created one company called Nine and Company. Let us say this is a chartered accountant firm, Nine and Company, and they want to maintain this thing. So first and foremost, what I've done is I've created few ledgers. So I'm going into the accounts info ledger. Let me just go to the one of the ledger called KF Global. Now here, if you see, this is the name of the my client. If I want, I can also maintain my file number here. So I maintain a lot of files in my office. So I can say file number K001 or whatever the number it has. So next time, instead of searching the file list or instead of maintaining the file list separately on the Excel, I just open the Tally and see what is the file number, and I can just pull out the file for any of the documents. Then I can also write the in the note section all the text number of this client. See, PAN number and the GST number field is given by the Tally in the default, but other fields are not given. We can utilize this note section, writing the 10 number, PT number, PTRC number, or shop and establishment number, MSME number, any number for compliance which is applicable to this client. So it becomes a one stop for us to know the details about this client. All right. PAN number also I could have mentioned there, but for PAN number, this is the option here, so I mentioned it here. Another thing is we can also mention these numbers as an alias. instead of writing in the notes, we can also mention in the alias, but there are pros and cons of doing it. If we mention in the alias, our list of ledger while doing the entry would be little longer. So I'm avoiding it for the time being. All right, so I'm just saving this. So this is the first, how you maintain the basic data or a basic text registration number, different text registration number of the client. Second most important thing, now all of you know that Tally provides the inventory feature whereby there's an option of the sales order. From sales order, there is generated a delivery note, and from the delivery note, a sales invoice is generated. Now this is a default feature of the Tally. I'm going to utilize this default feature of the Tally for my organization, whereby I will term the sales order as a work list, delivery note as a work done, and sales invoice as a tax invoice. So what I've done here is, in the Tally, I went into the accounts info, voucher type, alter. I went into the work list. I went into the work list, and now I've created a new voucher type under the sales order. So this is nothing but the default Tally's sales order I've created as a work list. Be with me for the next 10 minutes to see how this magic unfolds. Similarly, I've created a new voucher type called work done under the delivery note. And the last, I've done the tax invoice under the voucher type called sales. All right. So this is a basic configuration what I've done. All right. Now, after that, I've passed a sales order entry. I've passed a sales order entry. Let's say for KF Global, I have been assigned the work of the GSTR 1, GSTR 3B, tax audit, and statutory audit. This is the work of the KF Global I'm going to do. So what I did next is, I went into the inventory info, stock item, and created my line of income or the kind of the work I'm doing, my service item as a stock item into the Tally. So I've created GSTR 1 under GST work. So I've created a stock group called GST work. Unit is numbers because we don't do half filing of the GSTR 1. Either we file or we do not file. So I'm going to measure it in the numbers. GST is applicable, type of supply is service. I've kept the costing method as an average cost. All right. And one more option is here, treat all sales as new manufacture. I've kept it as a yes. So I will explain you why it is yes the moment we go forward to the session. That's all. So similar to this, I've created GSTR 3B, income tax return, internal audit, statutory audit, tax audit, or whatever services I'm going to provide to my clientele. I can maybe ETDS return, DSC renewal, whatever services I'm going to provide to my client. I'm going to create this as a stock item into the tag. So far, I've not done any customization. What I'm showing you is all default features of the Tally. I'm just utilizing the default feature in a little bit different manner. All right. Now, once I do this, I went into the passing of the inventory voucher, order voucher, and I've passed the couple of sales order voucher. So let me just show you. So this is a work list. So for this KF Global, I've passed the entry. So for KF Global, this is my party address, GST number, details, and I said yes. This is the GSTR 1 work which I'm going to do. I'm passing the entry on 1st of April. So after that, I've given the order number. So instead of writing the order number at the beginning, I have said make the order number applicable on all the items. There is an option under F12. Once I come here under F12, there's an option here, use order number for every item. I've made that question as yes. Use order number for every item as yes. Therefore, the order number appears after the every item. So I've given the order number that I'm now doing the entry on 1st of April 2020, that is at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to file a 12 return of my client GSTR 1 for this year. So I said March 20, because March 20 is written, I will be filing in April. So I'm giving the number is a March 20, which is due on 10th April, which is nothing but the due date of the GSTR 1. So I'm saying March 20, due on 10th April, one number, and this is the rate which I have decided with the client. All right, that I'm going to charge 4,500 rupees. Similarly, for April 20, May 20, June 20, I have just punched this out. Then, similarly for GSTR 3B, I have said March 20 is the order number and it is due on 20th April because GSTR 3B is due on 20th April. So here I am writing a due date of my ITR or a return. Next is a tax audit work. Tax audit, I'm going to do it only once. So I've written one number, tax audit, financial year 1920, and this is the rate agreed upon, due on 31st October 2020. It is a different matter that the department keeps on extending the date. So I can also come here and change the date here. All right. And the statutory order. Same way. All right. I'm not giving any taxation detail here that I can give at an invoice level. So this is nothing but the sales order entry, and at this stage my financial books of accounts are not affected. It is just an order. It is just an order to perform this task. There is no financial implication, even though amount is reflecting here. There is no financial implication yet under my balance sheet, P&L, or anywhere else. All right. Once I do this, similarly I pass the work list order for Blue Media company also. Let me say I received the order from the third client. So let me show you how do I pass the entry. So I go to the order voucher. I click on the sales order and select the work list. And let's say here the client is Do Reach Exports Private Limited. Let's say I'm doing the entry on 1st of April and he has allotted me the internal audit. So internal audit he has allotted me. So I can give the order number internal audit Q1 financial year 2021. This naming convention you can decide for yourself. And let's say this is due after the 15th of the quarter is ending. All right, and the rate is say 50,000. Similarly, for Q2, you may say it is time consuming to do this entry, but once you do the entry into one client, you can just copy paste this. I will come to that in a little while. 15th of October, one number, then the Q3 FY 2021, which is due on 15th of January, and the Q4 2021 is say due on 15th of April. The moment I receive any work in my organization, I should go and pass the entry into the work list along with the due date, that when it is due, when I'm going to submit that work. The advantage would be, once I do this entry, I can go to the display, statement of inventory, sales order outstanding, all orders. I can select the period, whatever is required. See, here it is, I get the list of all the work which is I'm going to do in this year. Now I want to know what work is pending for the month of April. I just click here and say 30th April. So yes, I'm going, these three works are pending for me. All right, these three works are pending for me. All right, let's say out of this, I do GSTR 1 of the Blue Media. This GSTR 1 is pending for the Blue Media and GSTR 3B is pending for Blue Media. I've completed that task. So let me show you how do I pass the entry once I complete the work. So for that, I'm going to pass the, you remember we had created one voucher type called work done. So I'm going to go to the inventory voucher, going to the delivery note, selecting work done, changing the date to 20th April when I've done the work. I will select the name of the party for which the work is done. I select the Blue Media, and here it comes the March 20. So I select the March 20. So the See, I don't have to redo the entry. It is picked up from there along with the, so I've done the GSTR1 and I've done the GSTR3B. I can utilize the tracking number also with a different naming convention. It is up to you. Now, the moment I do this, now see the beauty. So I have received the work from Blue Media Company. I have passed the sales order entry under the work list. I have completed the work. I have passed the entry under work done, which is nothing but the delivery note in the tally. The moment I do this, I can go to the profit and loss account, and under sales account, if you see, it will give me the details, sales bills to make. That means for this, work has been done, goods has been delivered, but bills not made. You can read it as for your organization, services performed, but bills not made. So this gives me the ready-made list of the item for which I have completed my task, I have completed my work. However, I am yet to raise the invoice. All right. And the moment I raise the invoice, okay, this there is another way to see this report. So let me just go to the display, statement of inventory, sales order outstanding, all order. Let me just again go back to the period 1st April to 30th of April and say F12, and I'm saying show cleared purchase order also. See, this is this sales order are clear. That means the work has been performed. So this is another way of looking. Yes, this work has been completed and this work is pending. All right. Let me just pass an sales entry here or a tax invoice entry to complete this cycle for the Blue Media. So this is nothing but my normal sales entry. So I'm going to the accounting voucher. I'm pushing it as an F8 sales tax invoice, and I'm giving it a name Blue Media. I'm selecting the tracking number. So again, the details are picked up. And since in the F12, here in the F12, I've made the additional description for the stock item as yes, it will open up one more window here. So I'm just writing GSTR1 for March 20, and I can also copy paste here the acknowledgement number of the GSTR1, so it remains as a record. And I'm pushing it as a professional fees, which is my sales ledger. GSTR3B also for the month of March 20. Again, I can write down the acknowledgement number here. Professional fees. And I'm writing taxation, which is auto calculated. I'm not going to teach you this taxation right now. GST is out. So now my entry is passed. I can also further write here in the narration if anything is required. And if you see now, I'm into this tax invoice and I'm just taking a print of this with a print preview. See, it has come with the logo. Logo you can decide for yourself. My company name and address, client company name and address, invoice number detail, the description of the services in detail, that it is for the which month along with the acknowledgement number, my quantity, rate, amount, taxable value, GST calculation, my bank detail for them to make the payment, and the declaration and the signing. So, even my invoice contains all the detail. More than the invoice, I also come to know which work is completed and which work is pending. All right, so this is a very beautiful concept whereby we are utilizing the basic fundamental feature of the tally, which is there in the default tally called sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice. So I come back to here. What I did is I'm just utilizing the basic feature sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice. And I've converted into the work list, work done, and the tax invoice by creating all the services as an item. And once I do this, I get a ready-made list of how much work is pending in this month, display statement of inventory, sales order outstanding, all orders. Let me just go up to 31st May. Yeah, 31st May, these are the compliances I'm going to do in the month of May. All right. So I know I can just take a printout and give it to my people that this is the work which is supposed to be done in the month of May. It can also be done group wise or a ledger wise. For a particular client also, I can come to know that how much work I'm going to do. All right, great. And if I go to the here display statement of inventory, sales order outstanding, and I go to the stock item wise, I can go for item wise at how many GSTR1 are pending, by which date it is due. All right. So again, in this list, I can see all the sales order outstanding, or I can click on right side due only, and it will just show me the due only. By selecting a period, it will show me only due only. So I know how many GSTR1 are going to become due in the month of May, or how many GSTR1 are going to become due in the month of October. I get a complete control on my due date management or a compliance management of it. Great. We are reaching to the end of this section. Any relevant question? All right. Narayan Swami is saying your voice is very low. Is it? All right.
Um,
Any question, guys? Have you understood? Not understood? Give me a feedback on the chat. If you understood, just type yes or the thumbs up, saying that understood or repeat or anything. Or great, understood. Nice. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Please go and utilize this feature. It is very useful, powerful feature. You can actually take a control of all your work which has been done. And plus, let me just show you one more thing before I actually move to the next section. See, under F11 tally, F11, there's an option called enable zero value transaction. So in case if you are doing some work of a client but not charging him, still you follow this process. Still you follow this process, and at the end generate a tax invoice with a zero value, mentioning the details. So at least it is in your record, in their record. Yes, this is the work which has been done. Just on a lighter side, let me also tell you, when you are creating the stock item, you can also create a stock item, something as you know on phone consultancy or WhatsApp advisory. Because this days a lot of people keep on asking us on the phone and we do not charge. Let that be go as a zero item, but at least let the client know that yes, we are doing this work. Great. So let me just move to the next section.
So in fact, can I share something very similar that I've experienced, Anand sir?
Yes, Janak, please go ahead.
तो doctors होते ना, there are doctors. So my doctor, which is very trusted to me, he consults me. Okay, so every 5-10 days, if there's some small issue, either cough, cold, or some other stuff, he gives me medication. But when I go and see him in 45 days, 2 months, 3 months, so he has all the records of the consultation that I've done from him.
Yes.
So this is something similar, and maybe he can charge me also. So
Yes.
far, out of goodwill, he's not charging, but this is something that he has for records.
Yes, yes. So yes, this the doctor. Even if you go to the homeopathic doctor, they have your entire history. That when you had approached the last, what was the advice, what was the discussion which happened. So they had made a special software for that. Now I'm saying we do not require a special software. We are already a financial experts, and we use the tally day in and day out. Why not utilize it for our advantage also? Great.
Right.
Let me just go to the next. So this was the first aspect, compliance management. How do we do? A simple idea of utilizing sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice for my purpose, as per my wish. All right. Next is recording the visit details. So a lot of time, my people visit to the client, or my people visit to the department, and there is no track. That how much work has been done for the client, how many visit has been done. If there's a scrutiny assessment going on, I don't know that my employee has visited how many times to actually solve that scrutiny. We at the end we just take a gut feeling saying that हाँ case इतना complicated था, शायद 5-6 बार गए हैं तो शायद इतना bill बना दो. Something like that. We people sometimes adopt this approach. I'm not saying all of you adopt this approach. Most of you must have some tracking mechanism, but yes, if you want to do this inside the tally, how do we do it? Let me just show you. So for that, I'm going to create an optional voucher under journal. So first, I'm going to the F11, and there is an option here, use reversing journal and optional voucher. I'm making this as a yes. All right. Then I'm going to the accounts info, voucher type, create. I'm saying staff visit for a visit records. What your naming convention you want to give, say journal. And I'm saying make this voucher type as option by default. So I'm making it as an optional by default. So once I make it an optional, just for you to understand, those who doesn't know the concept of optional voucher, the optional voucher does not affect my books of accounts. It is a memorandum voucher. Okay, all right. It is just a record keeping. It doesn't affect my finance, my balance sheet or profit and loss account. All right. After I do this, what I will do is I will create the ledger of my staff. So let me just create the ledger of the staff. Let me say that, Ravi is there, who is my staff. I can create a separate group called staff, and I can put it under the asset side. I feel my staff are my asset, so I'm putting it as an asset. You may put it under liability or an expense, whatever it is, just on the lighter side. All right. And let's say there is one more staff, Gopal. All right. Now, next time, whenever my staff visits them, visits either the client or visits the department, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass an entry. All right. Yes, in Tally, everything starts and ends with an entry using fundamental debit and credit. So I'm going to the accounting voucher. I'm clicking on F7 journal. I'm selecting a staff visit. Staff visit, that means it is by default optional. I cannot pass a regular entry. It's an optional entry. So let's say for this Blue Media, my staff has visited. I will just write a one. One denotes that it's the one visit which has happened. You may decide to do it in the terms of a minute or an hours, but my suggestion would be keep the counting parameter or a unit of measurement as constant. Okay, so you can say 0.5 if it is an half day visit only. So you may say new reference, and you may decide here that it is an IT department visit. All right. And I'm going to give a credit to the Ravi because he has visited there. All right. That's all. Once I do this, I can keep on passing the staff visit entry as and when my people visit either to the client place or to department, and in turn, I can then generate the report wherever required. So I'm writing it audit visit, and let's say this Gopal had visited. That's all. Where do I get this report, or how do I find out? So next time, if I want to find out that for Blue Media, how many of my people had visited and where, so I can go to the display, exception report, optional voucher. It gives you the list of all the optional voucher staff visit. And here we have a help from the Tally Alt F12 range. You can say voucher having ledgers with the name containing Blue Media. So it will only give me the all the visit entry of the Blue Media, or I can say for Ravi, or I can say for Gopal, or for any particular client. I am maintaining the staff visit detail inside the Tally, and it is not affecting my books of accounts. It is as simple as this. Some people may decide to do it not in the optional entry, but in a regular entry and in a different Tally company. They don't want to mix the actual data and the staff visit data. So you can always go back and create a new company in the Tally and make a staff visit there. All right. Just to make a staff visit entry there. Forget that. If you have a, let's say you are a big CA firm, maybe 25, 30, 50 chartered accountants, multi-location, you can utilize the concept of the go down also. And you want to maintain a library details, that which staff or which article has taken which books from the library and who is returning. Just create a separate company into the Tally. All right. Just create a separate company into the Tally. Just say books on the asset side. Just create a library books on the asset side, and on the liability side, create a something called as an intellectual capital. Okay, and create all the books as a stock item in that company, and create all the employee as a ledger, and just keep on passing the journal entry. Whoever takes it, whoever comes back to you, it's all, it is now the your imagination where you can utilize this thing. All right, I'm not going to do this. Okay. So Lena is asking, can an article wise entry is available? Yes, Lena, what you can do is, first and foremost, where you have created the staff, you can also create the subgrouping called article, which can be put under staff. This is the one way of categorizing it. All right, and then when you go into that report, display, exception report, optional voucher, here into the alt F12, you can always go and say voucher having ledgers with the group name, with the name containing article. So to give me all the article put together, if I want a particular article, then I can just say ledger having the ledger name, uh, ledgers having the name containing Ravi. So it will give me the report of that. So that filtration facility in the Tally is very powerful. I hope I have answered your question. All right, let's go ahead. So did you like this feature, guys? Yes, no, maybe? Quick reaction in the chat box. Thanks, Lina.
Yeah. So
Sure. Great. Let me just go to the next feature.
so there is one query.
Yes.
Can we take it? So
Yeah,
Samir Kaswala sir is asking, sir, can we convert optional voucher into actual voucher?
we can convert optional voucher into actual voucher if required. Why not? But here I'm utilizing the optional voucher for my staff visit, and I'm utilizing in the same company. That's why I'm keeping it as an optional voucher. Otherwise, if you wish, you can. This is another way of looking into it. What you can do is, you can keep on passing the optional voucher like I have done here, and then when you are billing it, you may convert it into the actual voucher, so that you know whatever optional voucher is pending, those are the pending billing. This is another way of doing the thing. There is no bar into it. There is an option here on the right side to make it a regular. All right.
Hope Samir sir that answers your query.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Samirji. All right, let's move to the next thing. Receivable management. Yeah, big pain for a CA firm sometimes. I mean, So easiest way to do this is to create a client grouping partner wise or manager wise, partner wise, who is actually going to take a follow up from that client. This is easier to do. I'm going to show you one more facility into this. So what I've done it here is, let me just see how many sales entry I have. Okay, so I only have one sales entry as of now. What I've done is, there are three customer ledger here. I'm just going to show you that. First is a Blue Media company, which I've created under the group called Partner One Ramesh. Then there is another client called KF Global, which is also created under Partner One Ramesh. And if you notice, KF Global Partner One Ramesh email ID is written as training@aspadvisors.co.in. Of course, it's my ID. It's a dummy ID right now. All right. And even in the Blue Media, you see there is an email ID written, but a different email ID is written, not the training, but a tally@aspadvisors. It's a different email ID. But both of these client belongs to Partner One Ramesh. And there's a third client called Do Reach Exports, which belongs to Partner to Mahesh. All right. So when I go to the data, definitely I get a bifurcation of the partner wise. So let me quickly pass few entries. I'm not going into the entire mechanism of this, my work done, work list, work done, just to save the time right now. I'm just saying do these exports, and I'm saying the professional fees and CGST. Do Rich Export was a client of a partner too, Mahesh. All right, and the KF Global. Okay, I have something in this, so like this. I'm just keeping this a bit faster because these are the regular entry, and I presume all of you know this thing very well. All right, so I have few sales entry and a few debtors, so I'm just going into the balance sheet. All right, and you see here under debtors, I can see the partner one and partner. So this is the easiest way to manage this. Okay, partner wise outstanding or a receivable is there. Now, what if I want to send the outstanding statement to only the client pertaining to partner one? Right now it's only two clients. There may be, let's say, the 200 client which pertains to partner one, all of whose has been created like this, and for all of them a separate email ID is mentioned. I want to send email to all the clients of the partner one at a one click from Tele. All right, so that is what I'm going to show you right now. Does anyone know this? Yes, no, maybe. देखा था कभी? All right, so all right, so no, people don't know this. Wonderful. So I'm going to the multi-account printing. There's an option on the gateway of Tele. I'm going to the multi-account printing. I'm going to the outstanding statement. Under outstanding statement, if I go on receivable, it will show me all the receivable. I don't want that. I want only the partner one Ramesh's clients. Okay, so I'm going to the group, and if I say partner one Ramesh, again it will give me the partner one Ramesh, all the client, but it will all give me together, which also I don't want. I want to send a mail. See, give me the partner one Ramesh, all the client outstanding. I don't want to send this statement to all the clients. I want to send Blue Media's outstanding to Blue Media's email ID, Cave Global's outstanding to Cave Global email ID. So what I'm doing is, one more time, I'm going to the multi-account printing, outstanding statement. I'm going to the ledger. Under ledger, I'm going to the group of accounts. Under group of account, I'm saying partner one Ramesh, and this is a print option. I'm now clicking the email option. My email is already configured in this. I'm just pushing my password here. PDF is what I intend to send, and here there's an option called all ledgers. All right. The moment I do this, the moment I do this, whatever I want to write, I can write. Whether I want to send email reminder later, I can send this, or I just want to send the ledger copy. I say mail yes, and it will send Blue Media's outstanding ledger to only Blue Media, and Cave Global outstanding ledger only to Cave Global. Yes, please try this out. It's a very interesting feature, hidden feature, default feature available inside the Tele. All right, let me just show you if I can. I'm just opening up my email ID here. So there a mail came from the 9N company right now, right 0 minute ago. So I'm opening up that mail, and if you see, yes, it gives me only the KF Global outstanding statement. Okay, it doesn't give me the Blue Media outstanding. It just gives me the KF Global outstanding. KF Global was defined as a training at the rate ASAP advisor. Are you convinced now that it is only sending that ledger outstanding to that party and not the all the outstanding? See, training. All right, great. Any question? You liked it? You did not like that? It was a surprise for you? Come on, guys, give me a feedback on the chat box. All right. Yeah, one night it was showing 2 pages, some other configuration, but it was showing only for KF Global. Yes, definitely, Abhishek. We have sent the email only. Anyone want me to repeat this? Where was the option? Yes, you can send a detailed statement also. So I'm just showing you the option one more time and what are the possibilities there. You can go to the multi-account printing. You can go to the outstanding statement, and in the outstanding statement, go to the ledger, and in the ledger, you go to the group of accounts and go to the partner one Ramesh. This will send the email to a particular client's email. So KF Global Ledger would be sent only to KF Global Ledger. If I go to the ledger and the group of accounts, and here I will say print yes or no, no, and these are the various options. Do I want to print the reminder later with a columnar format? Okay, company logo, signing authority due on. I want to send this format instead of sending the ledger. I want to send this as an outstanding letter from Tally. It is possible. All right, the same thing. After doing this, I will just send after selecting this configuration of the reminder letters. Instead of saying yes now, at this stage, I will press an email. I'll write out the email and I will say all lead. That's all. That will send the email to all the respective outstanding statement or a letter to the respective client. All right. Then I'm not going to again open the email ID for this. You just try it out first. You may try it out with the couple of clients and put your own two different email ID just to see how it is working. All right. All right. How to set up a CA logo? It's very basic, Samiji. So here under F11, there's an option under accounting feature, enable company logo. This is a yes option, and which formats are supported, what size is supported is given. You just download it on your machine and just copy paste the entire path along with the file name here and the logo appears. All right. Let's jump to the next point. If there's no other question. Thanks, Vanna, for appreciating. All right. Let me just go to the next section. So yes, this is how I do a receivable management. So just a quick recap of what we did till now. First, we did a client compliance management using the work list, work done, and the tax invoice, which is nothing but the sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice. We just created all my services as a stock item there and captured the entire flow. Thereby, I was getting what is the compliance getting due in this month, what is the compliance done but bills not done, per client compliances, and so on and so forth. Then we discuss about the staff visit to the client or to the department and how do we do it, whether we do it in the same company, different options are there, and we can filter this out. And then we look into the receivable management and sending the one-click email outstanding reminder for all of them. All right, great. Janak, if there are no relevant question, I will move to the next section. All right,
Sure, sir.
great. Next is additional MIS or whatever additional thing you want to do. There are a lot of things to be done, can be done. I'm not going to show you everything or discuss everything right now. Just a couple of things. See, if you are maintaining this methodology of the work list, work done, and the tax invoices, at the end, you can also know what is the average billing for, let's say, my GSTR 3B or GSTR 1. I may be charging differently to the different client. For some client, I may be charging 3,000, for some 5,000, some 3,500. But at the end, I want to know what is the average billing. Broadly, I know as a gut feeling, but what the number says. Okay, so there's option available here. You can go to the inventory info, stock item, sorry, not inventory info, display, inventory book, stock item. I go to the GSTR 3B and I look at the outward column. Okay, so I've filed the two, this thing. Right now it is showing the zero. It is show there. in the F12, and I'm saying the opening I don't want, inward I don't want. All right, so it is not giving the total here, it's giving me some other field. Display statement of inventory and anyways, so I know that yeah, here it is. See, so display statement of inventory, sales order outstanding. I can go to this particular stock item, GSTR1. I can give the period. Okay, so this is the average rate I'm going to charge to the GSTR1 client for entire year. There were 2 clients, and I made about the whatever the number of the entries I've passed. So this is the average rate what I'm charging to my customers. All right, great. So I can say order cleared. This is the rate I'm charging to my customer. So if I go inside it, and I can say to some I'm charging 3,000, to some I'm charging 4,500. And since there are only 2 clients and the exact number of return, it is working out to 3750. Otherwise, it may vary also. All right. Hope that was useful. A small feature, but that was useful. All right. Let me just take you to the one more very old but a very underutilized feature of the Tally, which is redesigning your own balance sheet and profit and loss account to suit your requirement. Okay, so just be with me. I'm first going to the balance sheet, and then I'm going to the profit and loss account. Let me just quickly pass few of the entries to start reflecting few of the numbers here, and then to see that how do I reshuffle this. Okay, this entry doesn't have any relevance to this today's session, but I just want to make you to understand how do I redesign my balance sheet and the P&L. So let me just quickly pass a payment entry, and let's say a cash, and I'm going to pass a conveyance, and some conveyance entry is passed, and then some staff welfare is passed. By the way, you can also utilize the concept of the cost center and the cost category if you want to maintain the real detail MIS. And let's say the all right, let's say the 2 things are there. And on the balance sheet side also, let me just quickly pass few entries. Say a computer is there, which is under the fixed assets. It is already there. So all right. So now let me go and see how does my balance sheet and profit and loss looks like, and what are the kind of the changes I can make it. So I'm going to the balance sheet. Okay, this is standard balance sheet of the Tally, fixed asset, current assets. I go to the F12 and I change to the vertical. Okay, all right. So it gives me the first sources of fund and then the application. But for me, as a I want my current asset to come above my fixed assets. Okay, I want my assets to be listed in the order of the liquidity and not the traditional order. I want the current assets to come first. So what I can do is I can go to the accounts info, groups, alter, and go to the current assets. All right. Under current assets, if you see on the right side, there's an option called edit sort. So I'm clicking this edit sort. There's a position index of the report 60. I'm just noting this down 60. All right. I'm not doing anything right now. And there's a fixed asset. Fixed asset position index is 40. Fixed asset is 40. Current asset is 60. I want current asset to come above. So what I will do is I will change the fixed asset to, let's say, 61. That's all. I now go to the balance sheet. And if you see, my current assets comes first and the fixed assets comes later. Useful. Again, this was for the group. Now I want for my ledger. Now let's say this conveyance ledger come first, staff welfare ledger comes second. I want my staff welfare to come first and the conveyance to come second. So what I will do is from here only I'm saying a control enter. Staff welfare is at 1000. and the conveyance is at also at 1000 because both are under the same group. So I will just make this to a 1001. My staff welfare comes above, conveyance comes. So this way I can rearrange my entire group and hierarchy, entire ledger hierarchy, and make the P&L and the balance sheet the way I want to see it. And one more thing, these configurations are company specific. So the moment you change in one company, it will not change in the another company. So you can even do this for your all of your clients, whereby you present something different to the client. All right. Samiji is asking a very interesting question. Is it possible that for the accounts receivable, non-paying client appear first? So how do Tally determine it's a non-paying client? You can give this uh, hierarchy by yourself by assigning the numbers. Tally doesn't assign the number by itself. By default, it has given some number. You can rearrange this giving the numbers by yourself. Okay, so that's all. All right. Uh, Great. Let me show you one very interesting report before I move to the next section. For that, I will need to pass a couple of entry of the receipt from the Blue Media and KF Global. So I'm going to the accounting voucher. I'm passing a receipt entry. Let's say I'm passing a receipt entry on 30th of June. I'm receiving ICICI Bank, KF Global. I've received 10,620 rupees. And for the Blue Media also, I've received on, let's say, 31st of July, the full amount. All right. Or why full amount? Let's say, yeah, let's say full amount. All right. So, in effect, the partner one, if I go and check the partner one account, it is clear. Now I want to, or it may be clear for some client, some partner, or some customer. I'm going to the display statement of accounts, outstanding group. I'm going to the partner one, and there is an option called related report here, and there's an option called group payment performance. So I click on the group payment performance, and I can know that which customer is paying in how many days. Okay, so partner one clients are on an average paying to the firm in 86 days. Very dangerous report. But yes, this kind of the report exists in the Tally. Within the partner also, which client is paying in average how many days, that is also been given. Okay. So again, a very interesting report. All right. Let me jump to the last section for my presentation today. All right. So there are many MISs possible. I just wanted to give you some hint that what kind of the MISs a CA firm can design into the Tally. And this all I'm talking, again, I'm stressing the fact, this all I'm talking the default Tally. Again, in the customization, you can do lot more stuff. Yeah. All right. Last and the most persistent question, which every session of the chartered accountants, wherever I've taken a session in physical presence or on the online media, ask me about this. How do I maintain the books on the cash basis? And therefore, I thought about including this as a last section in our today's discussion. Cash basis versus accrual basis. So see, for GST purposes, there is no option. We need to maintain the books of accounts as per the accrual, and we need to pay as per the accrual basis. That means we need to raise the bill and we need to pay the GST, irrespective of whether the client pays me or doesn't pay me for next 6 months. For income tax and the audit purposes, as a CA firm, I have an option whether to maintain the books on the cash basis or on accrual basis. But so far, I have not come across any CA firm who is maintaining the books on accrual basis. All of them maintain the books of accounts on cash basis for income tax and audit purposes. So that comes to the question in Tally whether I should maintain the books on cash basis or accrual basis, or should I maintain the two separate books of accounts, or should I maintain one book of account, and how do I convert into the second book of account? So that is a question I'm trying to attempt here. So let me just go back to Tally and give you the glimpses of how my balance sheet looks like. All right. Currently, I have the data which is the outstanding right now of the do reach exports. There may be 10 data or the 100 data, doesn't matter. All right. So what is my proposition here is, because it is compulsory to maintain the accrual base of accounting under GST, and also for all the discussion we had today for the client compliance management about maintaining work list, work done, and the tax invoice, it is advisable for you to maintain your books of accounts on accrual basis first. So throughout the year, you maintain your entire books of accounts on accrual basis. At the end of the year, you convert your accrual base of accounting to cash base of accounting by passing a single simple journal entry. How do I do that? Okay, let me show you in a minute. First, let me repeat what I said just now. For the entire year, since you need to maintain the books of accounts for GST under accrual basis, I suggest you to maintain the entire books of accounts on accrual basis for the GST purpose, for your internal MIS purpose, for work delivery purpose, for compliance management purpose, and so on and so forth. So it is advisable for you to maintain books of accounts on accrual basis of accounting. At the end of the year, you pass one simple journal entry and convert this into the cash base of accounting. And how do we do that? So I come to the Tally for doing this. Interested in knowing this? Come on, guys, give me some response. Or are you happy with the way you are maintaining your books of accounts right now? Only one, only Samirji is interested. All right. Okay, let me just show you this. So right now I have maintained my books of accounts on accrual basis. I have passed my sales entry as and when it was becoming due. All right. Now at the end of the year, see, for me as a CA firm, please understand what is the difference for me into the cash base and accrual basis is only two things. One is my debtor and other is my creditors. If I convert this two into the cash basis, my books are automatically converted into the cash basis. How do I do that? First, let me talk to you why the debtor same gets applicable for my creditor. And again, the creditor are very less in our CA firm. So mainly I will talk about the debtors. So at the end of the year, I go to the balance sheet and see what is my debtor outstanding. So currently my debtor outstanding is 1,18,000, which includes GST. I understand. So for this, it is very easy for me to calculate even manually. But even if let's say there is some different figure, I can simply arrive at a figure by doing this, that 1 lakh must be the billing and 18,000 must be the GST component on it. The moment I decide this, what I will do is I have created two ledgers. Please be with me for the next 2 minutes onto this. I've created one ledger called debtor control account. For my understanding, I've written for cash basis. All right. And I've created under sundry debtors. Okay. So this is the first ledger I'm creating. And second ledger I'm creating is a GST paid into bracket. Again, for my understanding, I am writing due to accrual method under current assets. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass a simple entry here. So again, I'm into the balance sheet and there's 1,18,000, out of which 1 lakh pertains to debtor, 18,000 pertains to GST. So what I will do is I will go to the accounting voucher. I will go to the 31st of March, my year end. I will go to the journal. All right. I will debit my professional fees because I also need to reverse my income. All right. So I will say 1 lakh. I will debit the GST ledger. You know, we have just created a GST ledger paid due to accrual method, 18,000. And I will credit debtor control for cash basis. And I can write it here, financial year 2021, just for my reference. Entry pass to convert from accrual basis to cash basis. This is for my understanding on writing. The moment I do this and I go to the balance sheet, I am onto the cash basis. My profit and loss account and balance sheet are on the cash base of accounting. Understood, not understood? Thanks, Vanna. I know it's a deadline coming on the 31st October. Still, all of you are here. Thank you very much for that. But yes, I'm sure your time is worth here. This 90 minutes is going to really change the way you look at the tally. Okay. Next, 1st April, what I will do is on the 1st April 21, on the 1st April 21, I will again go to the journal and I will simply reverse that entry. What I will do is I will simply reverse that entry. So again, these two ledger which I had created on the 31st of March are knocked off, and I am back to my accrual basis of accounting as on 1st April 2021. I get all the reports of the work list, work outstanding debtor, everything is under my control right now. Does it make sense? Yes, TDS effect also you can take it. No big deal into this. TDS effect also you can take it very easily. Whether you want to take it TDS on the unrealized data. What is the treatment you want to give in to the TDS on the unrealized data? Whether you want to count it as a TDS for the next year, then you just create one more ledger called uh, TDS for this year, carried forward to next year due to accrual method. Okay, and if you want to claim it into that year, doesn't matter. All right. Yes, Lina, I understand little working is required. It is easier said than done. But yes, there is some insight. Uh, See, initially, when I was looking at the tally, to give you the brief, I started working on the tally on 1998. On the first day of my articleship, I worked on the tally 4.5, and that is where I, started liking the tally right from that day. So my first assignment on the articleship was to write the books of accounts on tally, on the tally 4.5, and on that 1998 there was some 486 machine was there. Okay, but over a period you learn, over a period you utilize. So this tally features are there. Some of the features which are shown to you are there into tally since long, but we are probably not utilizing it to our best advantage. Okay, there are a lot many things to discuss, but I've been told to open the floor for the question and answer. Yes, guys, give some reaction on the chat box. Did you like what I discussed today? Anything useful? Would you implement this in your organization?
Samir sir is saying yes. Nidhi ma'am is saying yes. Vikas Baheti ji is saying yes. Ramesh sir is saying yes. Jiten Mehta sir, welcome Jiten sir.
Jiten sir,
Kamlesh sir.
thank you so much. All right.
Barin ji is saying it is very interesting. Giriraj ji is saying it's. So they are all loving it, Anand sir, in fact.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And anything you would like me to cover, any question you have, anything you want me to repeat into the session, or you want me to take an additional topic of cost center, cost category, although not the originally designed for this session, but yes, I can take it. Any question anyone has, or anyone want me to repeat what I already discussed into the session? All right. I think Janak, no one has a question.
Yeah,
So
everybody has everybody has just testimonials and
so,
encouraging stuff for us.
so I think they are truly surprised and shocked by looking into
Yeah.
what we can do today, and not
Yes. Yes.
able to raise any question right now. Maybe if
Yeah.
you have any question going forward also, yes, this is my contact details. Please get back into touch with me. I'm more than happy to connect with you all. And there may be some surprises if anyone connects with me. Believe me. Yes, any questions I'm here to answer. Truly, and no one has any question. I'm surprised. And tally in generally in tally session we take a lot of time to answer the question.
Barin ji is asking something. Maybe and Vikas sir has raised a hand also. So we will first take Berinji's query.
Yes.
Anand sir, if
Yes.
you can take up that query, I
Yes,
not
though it
completely
is not
understand it.
directly related to the topic, but can you give us any information, fixed assets, okay? Like how to record the depreciation, okay? Okay, schedule 3 balance sheet. Please revise the first slide. Okay, let me just come back one on one. So fixed asset schedule as such is not inside the tally. However, there is some useful information is there. Uh, uh, Barin, sorry, I don't know the pronunciation of your name, Barin. You do connected with me on the WhatsApp. So yes, let me show you this. So what I'm doing is first I'm making the company the security enabled. Why I'm making the company as a security enabled? Because in the Tally ERP 9, some features are available only if it is a security enabled. Which features are there? Audit and auditor edition. So under audit and compliance module, so this is for you for the fixed asset and depreciation. So for audit and compliances, if you go under audit and analysis, and here if you go under the other analysis, there's something called as a fixed analysis, fixed assets analysis, and you click on the detail. So what it does is it gives you the list of all the fixed assets along with the date on which it is added. Okay, so it gives me the date on which it is added. I can simply export this to the Excel and work out my depreciation. Or here in India, I know you are from Rwanda. Here in India, we also have a concept of the depreciation as per the Income Tax Act, whereby more than 180 days and the less than 180 days concept is there. So what you can do, you can again re-export the schedule, okay, and intelligently give the formula for the more than 180 and less than 180. Tally automatically classifies all the addition of the fixed asset into more than 180, less than 180. Right now, it is showing only one entry because I only passed the one computer as a fixed asset. I hope, Bahrain, I was able to somewhat answer your thing, not entire thing, but yes.
Additionally, Anand sir, Vikas Baheti ji had raised his hand. Let me see if you would like to speak.
Yeah.
Vikas sir, I would request you to unmute and speak. I'm going on same and see if you can ask your query on the forum. Vikas sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Vikas sir.
So very good discussion, I am thinking. Sir is carrying on very well. Sir, if we have a payment performance and part payment is clear, means out of 100% we have received 90% of the amount, is there any report which can send at the payment performance before clearing?
So percentage-wise payment performance is not there. That what you mentioned, that if I have received the 90% of the payment, will Tally give me the flag that I have received the 90%? No, Tally will not give me the flag, but yes, it gives you the report of this performance. Even in the ratio analysis, I can go and see that analysis receivable turnover in days. Okay, so here also it gives me the payment performance of the group wise, party wise. I can also take it a ledger wise. Okay, so yes, it only gives you the number of days for which this payment is outstanding, or number of days in which this payment is getting cleared on an average by this party. That is what the information is available as of now in Tally. Yes, schedule 3 is available, Ramesh. So because have I answered your question, or is it something else what I spoke about?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Vikash. Ramesh is asking about schedule 3 balance sheet. Yes, Ramesh, it is possible. It's a separate topic by itself. Please connect with me. Yes,
Anand sir.
yeah.
Anand sir. Jiten sir has raised hand. Can we?
Yeah. Please unmute him. Please unmute him.
Yes, Jiten sir. Okay, maybe accidentally. Jiten sir, are you there? Okay, accidentally hand raise हुआ होगा.
Hello,
Anand sir.
hello.
Continue.
Anand sir,
Yes, Jitin bhai. Yes.
you
Yes,
can hear
Jiten
me?
sir.
Yes, Jitin bhai.
How are you? Fine. And it was a really great lecture. I just wanted to add, if you don't mind.
Yes, Jitin bhai. Please go ahead.
In fixed asset, that sir has asked, if you activate interest calculation, and make it yes, and give that percentage of 15% and 7.5%, I think it will be automatically calculated in that.
Yeah, it will get calculated, but it will be interest and maybe misleading in some cases. Yeah, but yes, good
Yeah.
suggestion, Jitin bhai. Yeah, great,
Yeah.
great suggestion, Jitin bhai. Yeah. So instead of terming it as an interest, you can term it as a fixed asset. You understand it is as a depreciation.
It will give the calculation of the depreciation amount
Yes.
at 15%. After 1st October, it should be 7.5% in case of electrical installations.
Correct.
Yeah,
Agree.
that you can, that feature also can be used, and the one feature can be used for something else.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Samir is
Janak.
asking about the MIS. Just can you mention the list of the MIS input which the Tally can generate? Samir ji, there are lot many MIS which the Tally can generate. I had done a separate session on the MIS. So if you don't mind, please connect with me on the WhatsApp or the email, and I will try and send you the link of that recording so that it's 1.5 hour session only on the MIS aspect of it. So that would be really great. Anyone wants that session, please connect with me. I will personally send that session to you. Yeah. Great.
And sir, if I see 2-3 suggestions for your number and email address.
Yeah, tell me what suggestion. Hello. Yeah, Janak, my email address and the number is written on the screen.
So I speak.
Janak, your
Okay,
voice.
okay. There's some lag from because of net.
Yeah, there is some lag on your side, Janak. All right. Great session. Anyone has any other question? We are actually before time this time. Instead of covering entire, what about? Yes. I think they are truly shocked and surprised about what Tally can do. And that's why, maybe after they learn something more into this, they do practice, there will be some question into this.
Right answer. I think they are clear now.
Yeah. Great. Someone was saying about repeating the first slide. I did not understood that part of the question. So first slide, are you intending to say this slide? Whoever has asked that question. Yeah, Giraj. Yeah, so Giraj, what I did is Tally has an inbuilt feature of the sales order, delivery note, and the sales invoice. So I've just utilized that feature. I've made the work list as a sales order, delivery note as a work done, and the sales invoice as a tax invoice. That's all. And just played out with this. All right. Great. Janak, I think I'm done from my side. If there is anything I can answer, or that's all from my side.
Thank you, Anand sir. In fact, I think we have covered all the questions. Okay, let me just wait for a minute until the time I speak. If there is anything that you would like to share or ask, we would still hold for a minute. But Anand sir, thank you so much for your wonderful time. And let me thank the participants also. Sorry, my internet bandwidth is not permitting. There's some issue at my place. So I won't be able to on the video. But thank you everyone, Jiten sir, Vikas sir, Anita ma'am, Archana ma'am, big shout out to Nidhi ma'am, Farad sir, Gopal sir, Jasmine ji, Kamlesh bhai, Leena ma'am, Nirmala ma'am, Neha ma'am, Ravi ma'am, Rohit sir, Sagar sir, Samir sir. There are many participants. Big shout out to you guys. Vanna ma'am, obviously, Venkatesh sir. And yeah, and finally, Anand sir, thank you so much for taking out time today. Hope the session was helpful and look forward to having you on board. Anand sir, can we close the session now?
Yes, thank you so much, Janak, and thank you so much, Tally, for giving me this platform and reaching out to the people. As long as you have enjoyed the session, I've enjoyed more than you. Let me tell you this: for preparing the session, for delivering the session, this is what I love to do. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, so we'll close the session. You can still write to me, write on the same email where you received the invite, and we'll be forwarding your queries to Anand sir. You can reach out to Anand sir directly. So that's it for this time. Thank you, guys. We'll close the session.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.